All right, this is your market recap for November 6th, 2025. As you can see today, we played decently bearish. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure what we're aiming for. I think as you'll see on the lower time frames, with how we swept this low, um, this is the low of the week. It's always possible that it's not, and that we're targeting these internal lows right here. But as far as inefficiencies goes, this has already been used as a bullish. That doesn't mean it can't be used again. We're still, no, we're not. We're no longer within this. But yeah, there's uh, not much to work with as far as points to reverse. Uh, it's possible, like I said, that we're targeting this sell side right here, um, but it's just not really. I don't want to think because we're still a higher time frame bullish, right? And so if we take out these lows, that changes the higher time frame, which I don't think we're ready for yet. Um, Here this morning we had, well, yesterday, like I mentioned, we had this SMT here, which pushed us down. All right, that was sell side pressure. Nice reaction off this 4 hour value gap right there. SMT of these lows pushed us up. You'll see on the 1 minute that why that did indeed not work. Now this is what I was talking about with how we closed on this low. We swept it multiple times. We have two candles working on the third inside of this low, but none of them have closed below it. So for me, it's kind of showing me that it might not really want to. But again, we'll see. Hourly time frame is where things become a lot more clear. Like I mentioned, higher time from SMT pushing us down inside this 4 hour right here. SMT, these lows pushing us up. Now at this point, I was kind of tunneled. I said, all right, I don't really know what way we're going. Higher time frame bullish, whatnot. But if we look here, we have these relative equal highs. Draw this across, right? If we look, so 776.25, the close of this candle is 778.75. So that's 2.5 handles above the buy side liquidity of a closure. And that's, in itself, it could still work, but then the next candle does what it does and closes bearish. And so in my mind, that's saying, all right, we felt this SMT, we felt this buy side pressure, but we don't have the power to close above this and continue. So from here, in hindsight, we're bearish, right? So then obviously 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock take us down here and we consolidate for the rest of the day. That's pretty, that much is pretty cut and dry. But determining this was, it was an error on my part. Like I mentioned, buy side, you can see here we sweep it, fail to close above it, make a little run to get those people in to get manipulated. We then come down. We have this 15-minute inverse fair value up here, validated with this check right there between this wick and this wick. We then come down, close at it. Today, I was looking for, it just so happens that, once again, market open needed some sort of buy side price action before it filled its move of bearish. And there was this 15-minute, which was already validated. So if we enter at the low of that fair value gap, stop above this high, right? We could target liquidity there. So 1 to 1.6. You could target this low, or even fulls if you really wanted to run with that. But for the 8:30 move, it's not usually too long. I wouldn't have held it that long anyways. That's pretty much it. Like I said, takes off, target, consolidation. 5-minute time frame, not much more. You can see here again, market opens, 8:30 candle checks up, and then we go from there. We come down, take out this sell side liquidity over here, almost hit this one, right? This is still a draw. Most people, and me in the past, would have said, oh, this is bullish. We failed to sweep it, even though we're this close, it's bullish. But that's just not the case, because if ES swept this and NQ didn't, then I'd be a little hesitant. But that's not how it happened. We retraced from here without sweeping on both of the averages. We came up perfectly to equilibrium, inside this 5-minute fair value gap. Hit that, reversed, and took us down below this low. This was the trade that I took today, one of them. The first one was, I don't even remember. Is it here? I don't remember. I'll see it. I'll recognize it once I get to the 1 minute. But from here, we come down, take out this low, and then slowly work our way below this sell side liquidity, and then kind of consolidate for the rest of the day. At this point, looking for a retrace, right? Because we swept this low. Higher time frames didn't sweep it too well, so obviously we're going to look to play bullish from here. Catch a retrace, looks to be roughly equilibrium, almost equilibrium. Right here, depends on what we see on the 1 minute. This might be enough for an entry, might not. But even if we take it, there's not much to aim for over here. So 1 minute time frame. Oh yeah, this is the trade that I took. At this point, this sell side liquidity was an SMT, right? So we had this SMT here. I saw this manipulation upwards. I said, all right, I'm in that, right? I saw this inverse fair value gap right here. And I said, okay, I need confirmation of it being bullish. We have these highs over here. We close above this inverse fair value gap. I'm entering the second it closes, preparing for it to possibly come down into here, maybe even expand upwards. But what I failed to see is how it closed, right? I mean, this is the high, dragged over. It swept it, but it closed right below it. Not only that, but it is an SMT. So between the behavior of how it closed and that it's an SMT, well, that's bearish, right? Not to mention reclaimed bearish fair value gap right there. And this is, I don't know that I call this trade of the day because it happened pretty fast. That's trade of the day. I'm just gonna say I believe it was here. Well, and the funny thing about this is I top ticked it, right? But just the opposite way. I entered like way up here, and then I got stopped out almost immediately, which is kind of funny. But we were able to come back from that and not have our mental be too messed up because we took this one here short to this low. This is trade of the day. Personally, would have taken it to here. Would I think we had potential to get down here? Possibly. But a 1 to 10 is plenty for me. Heck, I might have even held for the 1 to 6. But for purpose of this, we'll do the 1 to 10. So from here, you can see down here, this right here at these lows is an SMT, forcing us up. As you can see, failed to sweep this sell side liquidity, playing bullish up to that equilibrium that we mentioned on the 5 minute. Perfect closures around it. Some sort of confirmation of we're moving. This candle right here, I entered at the second it closed, accounting for the fact that it may come up into this 1 minute and it may not. So I enter down here, stop up here, profits down here. Obviously that gets hit pretty well. And then from there, it's kind of just a slow journey down to the sell side. And then once we hit that, we're kind of just chilling. Let's see, SMT possibly between these. What time we're looking at? Here, 157. Okay, so we got the macro going for us. Other than that, we have these lows are equal. Possibly this 127 low you could play off of. 127 low validated fair value gap turned into an inverse. Here, entry could have been either when this closed or on the entry. Constant encroachment of both the 5 minute and this wick would be your entry. And you could target stuff as small as this high, right, which would have gotten hit, or equilibrium of that move is too high. One of these fair value gaps, heck, or you could even take this fib expansion. I mean, look at that textbook. Holy nuts, dude! Straight up to that high, right? Can't get more perfect than that. So that would have been a decent trade because what? At 1 to 5 for PM session, that's kind of crazy. I failed to get down to here, but given the SMT and how we were moving, Ooh, I actually don't think I would have taken this. Yes, we did react nicely, but this 1 minute fair value gap was staring at me. In that case, we'll take this inverse. Boom, here, stop below here, same profit up there, 1 to 5, right? So there's always a trade to find. There's always a trade to be found. You just have to, one, have the confidence to take it and be looking in the right spot. So, higher time frame. Well, let's go to the 4 hour. Not a fan of how he starts this low, but if it proves that it still has the power, to take out this low and close below it, then my profits are down here. Um, Either way, I might want to play bullish tomorrow. Let's look in the weekly candle. 100%. If we close bearish, or not close, but if we're a big bearish candle tomorrow morning, I'm playing bearish for that TGIF retrace. Um, that, and if we do indeed, where'd it go? If we do indeed close below this low, right? Boom, we still have this whole move that needs a retrace. So between equilibrium of, let's just say it closes and puts the wick down to there, we need something to retrace us if we want to expand lower. Also aligned with TGIF, most likely playing bullish tomorrow, but that's just my feeling, right? That could be 100% wrong. We'll see. Between now and then, a lot can change. So this has been your market recap for November 6th, 2025.